half of it. So, and I do that a lot, so just let you know. I drop the pick on. Alright, hope you guys like it.
Too long. My heart is where you ought to belong. I put these walls up, I kept the door shut. Was stubborn to think I could do this on my own. And I've had it all, the pain and the hatred, and I used to fake it. So they wouldn't see me weak. And I have sinned, I've given my lies, my lust for things that I don't need. Time to get these stains away from me. 'Cause I'm not the man you wanted me to be. So take over. Take over. I'm ready. I'm ready to be broken into. Father, I'm so sorry for what I've done. I've ignored your voice and I mean I'm your son. So why do I drift apart? And why do I take heart to fight these wars I can't win? just take over. Just take over. 'Cause I'm ready. I'm ready to be broken into. Broken into. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to be broken take over. Take over. Yeah, take over. Take take over. Take over. 'Cause I'm ready. I'm so ready to be broken into. Broken into.
So for those who also never been to one tribe meetings, we tried to give a drawing at the end of the night, but I kind of feel like today we should do two. What do you think? I mean, we do two. So let's get another one going. Today we're gonna have Stevie speaking, but Rebecca is really working on his hair. So I know this is an interesting thought, but it's like all our offerings. It's kind of like the symbol of that wine color, you know. It's like a blood offering, and so that's kind of, to me, that's really symbolic. And going into the Holy of Holies, you know, you would have the table of the bread, and the candles, and the altar of incense. And a lot of it was made out of acacia wood, which is what the table is made out of. But yeah, I spent a lot of time with Stevie, at least 4 days, 3 days a week, at least 3 days a week. Yeah, so it's awesome. Come on.
So, I never actually done this before, so this is actually my first time ever speaking like this, in a sense.
With a bun?
With a bun too, yeah. But in the sense of like, I was supposed to start working on this last Wednesday, but the verse of the day on Wednesday was, "Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own." So I worked on it today. I want to speak about a trouble in my life. I just started going to college, and college is interesting, but there's something that I've noticed, and that's what this is going to be about a little bit, but a little bit about my past too. So, growing up, I was not the best of people, especially in my elementary and middle school years. When it came to bullies, I wasn't the guy being bullied. Well, and I wasn't the main guy bullying. I was the guy who just stands next to the bully, who just is like right next to him and not speaking a word while they say words to other people. Because I moved around schools a lot when I was younger, so making friends for me was not very easy. Most of the time, the only people who would accept me was the one who was excluded the most. And growing up, I realized that the reason that most bullies were bullying other people was because they felt like they were the most excluded. Usually they were. They were not the best at sports, or they weren't the smartest person in the class, and so sometimes people didn't really talk to them. And so I usually ended up next to that person. Not always, but most of the time. By being a friend to those kind of people, I've hurt other people at the same time. Because I thought being a good friend was listening to what they were saying, as in, oh, they don't like me, so you're not supposed to like them. So that's kind of what I followed. Out of all the bad and stuff I've said, and all the situations God's put me in, I realized that maybe my point was to be a friend to the person who was hurting other people because they were hurting themselves. Proverbs 17:17 says, "A friend loves at all times." It was around the 4th grade. I went to go visit my friend's house. I'm going to call his name John, even though his name wasn't John. He lived with his mom and his stepdad, and his parents drove me to his apartment, and arriving there, right after we got there, both his parents left, and so it was just me and him by ourselves in his apartment place, playing around. And what I realized with him was that was a normal thing for his parents to just be gone mostly all the time. There was some stories where he was like, yeah, like 3 months ago we did this and that, but like 3 months out of an event with your parent that wasn't like too particularly big, I didn't feel like he was being loved. Because of that, I've learned that friends are important. But as I've grown older, I've struggled with those kind of things. In middle school, I was doing things that I probably shouldn't be doing with other people. Not necessarily super bad, but as in friend-wise, the same thing as before. Especially in 7th grade, I was the friend of the guy who would do like all these bad things like vandalism and drugs and stuff, but I never did any of that. However, I was a friend of him, and he always, like, he would exclude everybody who had friends, and all the people who looked lonely, he would bring into our circle. And he would say things to people like, oh, Stevie doesn't like you, or Stevie doesn't want to do this, or Stevie doesn't like that kind of thing. So, and I just went along with it, even though I didn't necessarily agree with him. And so throughout my life, friends have been a struggle. And that's usually why you don't see me hanging out with a lot of people. And a lot of times if you're not one to talk to me, I probably won't talk to you. Though, I'm not saying I don't want to talk to you, it's just, I find it really hard to do stuff like that. I didn't realize I was really hurting people until high school. And so high school was when I tried to exclude myself on purpose. I would always pretend like, oh, I'm just gonna work on this by myself because I don't think that that I would be really much help to people, or I would just end up being a pain to people. I ended up sort of lonely and depressed throughout high school, throughout middle school. Some of my friends throughout middle school, I told them that, my best friend in middle school, I told him that I would take a bullet for him. And then he said that I would not die for you, so you shouldn't die for me. And greater not love of man for one who would die for another one. So, things throughout my life, I've realized that I'm not perfect, and I'm definitely not perfect at speaking, sorry. I get rambling, I start rambling about something, and then I start moving on to different subjects slightly, and so then I lose my train of thought, and so I'm like way off my list right now. Anyway, I realized throughout college, when I first went to college, I'm just gonna put this away. When I walked into college, the college campus and stuff, everybody was running around. You saw a few people talking with each other, but everybody was all focused on themselves and trying to get themselves ready for all their classes, like buying all the textbooks, getting all your supplies. The line was huge. And I was looking for people, like maybe some of my old friends want to talk, and if I could find any of them. And nope, they don't want to talk. They're all busy with things. And so
I was there.
I'm talking about the first, yeah. Anyway, friends are important in life. Like Proverbs 17:17, I think I said earlier, a friend loves at all times, and God is love, is 1 John 4:8. So, with people who, a lot of times you see that person who has a hard time making friends, and sometimes they look like they want to avoid you, which is what I tried doing throughout my high school years. They don't really. So the best way to show God to others, I think, is being a friend. Just to anyone. And I'm thankful for my cousins who have been with me as my friends, even when I felt like I didn't have friends throughout my weekdays, because I only saw them on weekends. Like, they were there for me when I felt like I was down, even though most of them probably didn't even realize it. I'm thankful for everyone even being here, listening to me just ramble on just some random stuff. Even though a lot of you I've never talked to, but it's not that I don't want to talk to you, it's just that I have a hard time doing it. And I'm thankful for God, because throughout the times where I felt lonely, I've grown to realize that He's always there with me, So whenever I'm driving alone in the car from school, it's like 9 p.m. after choir, and I'm driving home, I'm always talking to God now. And I feel like God can be our friend, but we need to be a friend to people who don't know God. And so, I'll leave you with that.
Can we have Rebecca and Stevie? So as you can see, going back into the priesthood of things, the main point was not a sermon. The climax of everything was intercession for one another. So the priests wouldn't go in there to go eat their bread and light the candles and light the incense to do a sermon. And then it was, I don't know why somehow things got switched around, but the point was, hey, now we're gonna go mediate for the people. And so we're gonna go into a time of we pray for everyone. And we anoint everyone with oil. You can choose to have it on your forehead or on your wrist. And so Josh, it's the oil is right underneath the candle. And then Tim, can you be one of the people that pray for others today? So give one of them to Tim and Timothy, I should say. Sorry. And then let's give another one to Timothy's dad. Is that okay?
Sure. Got one.
Yeah. Yeah. We usually choose 3 people, so we'll go with those 3, and then and then we'll. We're going to be singing out of Psalms 93 today. Almost pretty much word for word, so. feel
stay.